That's so funny you would say that about being uniquely you, because one of the things we talk about at BEQ Pride and in the Business Equality Magazine website is about this idea of leaning into and embracing your diversity, right? That's not like every time you introduce someone, you come up with all of your intersectionality, give them the whole list and everything, but it's like embody it, own it,
Embody it.
show up in it, and then push yourself forward. People, for me, first, I'm connecting with your eyes, I'm connecting with your smile. Anything else beyond that I get to know about you, that's just extra. And
Mhm.
it's wonderful. But I connect with the person first. And so it's just been magical to be able to watch you on screen and to find out, to have the conversation with you, and you really are this way. And what I want to know is, how do you encourage other people like you, or not, but people in the community, LGBTQIA plus community, to show up? And then getting certified, getting your business certified, it doesn't mean that the world has to know, but it is letting your voice be amongst other voices, right? And
Mhm.
one lesson I learned early from a mentor back at the SBA, he's no longer there, but he told me, it's kind of hard to go on Capitol Hill and make a claim about something and about the LGBT community when there's so few, in number, represented as certified as such. It's a
Mm.
voice that's not necessarily organize the business side of the community. And so one of the things at BEQ Pride we're really focused on is, how do we reach the 1.4 million? How do
Mhm.
we build a bridge between corporate America and large employers and large buyers of things to this almost silent community living
Mhm.
out and amongst us, but not necessarily understanding the ignorance and the fear, and then trying to get people to just, say, I'm here. I'm here
Mhm.
because I think it's embracing your own identity, your diversity, leaning into it, because that's what people really want. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes they're checking a box. I mean, we're trying to get them
Mhm.
past that, but the true value, and you have a whole book on this too, I'm sure, about the value of the diversity. It's
Right.
it's it's more about the inclusion, obviously, but there is something in seeing the world from my spot, right?
Right. Right.
I share something unique to show. And so if that never gets a chance to be birthed, to be out there, we all lose. So I just want to know from your
Yeah.
experience, like, what do you think needs to be done to get more
Yeah.
people engaged?
Yeah, this is really I love this because this is I'm thank pandemic miracles is what I call
That's
these.
what I call them too.
I very rarely get questions. Like, I have an answer for everything. Like, the words are my gift, right? I very rarely get a question that really makes me have to think deeply and presents me with a new challenge that I haven't thought about.
Mhm.
And I did just join my first LGBTQ board. I'm on the board of Start Out.
Oh, I
It's like
love
a
Start Out. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so I'm on their board, very proud, and I just resigned from 4 boards because I just had too much going
Mhm.
on. But I accepted that board position because I want to speak up more in this space. I don't. It
Love it.
just happened that, like, my non-binary coming out was the only coming out I've ever had because I was never in. Like, my parents were so accepting of who I was that there was no coming out.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
just did what I did. So yeah, so what this reminds me of in terms of challenges. So I look to the B Corp movement. Like, I adore the B Corp movement, triple bottom line economy, and the idea of using business as a force for good. And what they've been really good at is galvanizing like-minded businesses, behind a mission, behind a vision. Like, we are going to have global impact. We're going to do better business. We're not going to maintain the status quo and just be
Exactly.
extractive and transactional. We're going to be better. And they've created a really strong movement around that. It's very visible, it's very present, it gets a lot of press. I feel like I don't see the same kind of, like, galvanized power for LGBTQIA plus business. I see the gay community doing what we do and advocating for rights and everything else, and I see businesses doing what, but I don't see that marriage in a big way, right? And maybe I'm just not looking in the right place, and maybe I need to become more part of this community. But it strikes me that, like, if I do end up working with the supplier diversity aspect of the larger corporations that I work with, and in the conversations that I've been privy to and the work that I do, it seems that because because the gender and race, as much as people want to avoid race, the supplier diversity on the gender and race side is easier to deal with because they're easier to find, right? And it somehow this is so weird, and this is purely conjecture on my part. Okay. So I am basing this is zero science.
This is a safe space. I'm with you.
Zero science here. But my assumption here is that I think that people actually feel like they're getting more in the way of street cred, cool points, accolades for doing business with minority-owned businesses, with women-owned businesses, than they are with LGBTQIA. And I think because the Black community is, and the minority community and the women are going to raise a mother freaking ruckus if you don't do business. If all 100% of your suppliers are white men, there's going to be a ruckus and you're going to be held accountable. But I don't hear that same ruckus from the LGBT community. I don't feel like there's any pressure. I feel like there's neither pressure nor incentive. And so then why? Like, why? So it's like, we never want to play pain Olympics, right? There's no oppression is better than anybody else's or worse than anybody else's. But I feel like what's needed is some kind of leveling to understand that marginalized businesses are marginalized businesses.
Period.
Right?
Right.
Period. Full stop. So yes, if we see that, like what's going to happen? I guess 100% of the white, gay, male-owned businesses are going to get more business than everybody else. Is this the problem? So yeah, so I think that there is an accountability issue. There's an accountability issue and a visibility issue.